Smoking a Tom Howard from, let's see, this camera does not autofocus. I have it set not to as well. But, so, smoking some Cornell and Diehl Super Balkan. Shallowed up the field. Super Balkan is mostly a bright flake mixture with Perique, Latakia, and Burley, spiked with high-grade Turkish leaf. An even heavier dose of Latakia than found in Atlas Balkan, one of Cornell and Diehl's oldest blends. Call me a cynic, or maybe my taste buds are old. But, you know, it's kind of like a good Latakia mixture, a good English mixture. But still available, which is nice. So this Tom Howard is a lot like a BP Jum, or a custom built, or a Weber, or any of those. Might have all been made in the same factory. But probably from the 50s or 60s. It's in great shape. But probably found its way to the back of the pipe rack and just never got smoked from whomever. Of course, it's an estate pipe. And I don't say that dismissively. That's how I actually like to buy pipes, is estate pipes. I think that somebody else has actually smoked this pipe and had some experiences with it and sat around contemplating the world and where they're in it. You know, that's awesome. That is great. So instead of, unlike a used car, where people have had all kinds of experiences, not all of them good, and the thing just gets worn out. This is not quite like that. So, I really like estate pipes. So I'm reading a book called The Age of Acrimony, and it's the period from the end of the Civil War until 1915, sort of the beginning of the First World War. And, you know, it makes today's political wildness seem like child's play, honestly. And the author's contention is that this period that we've had since 1915 until probably 2000 was a period that was maybe out of character with the U.S. and the way people involve themselves politically. So, interesting book. I just needed a little perspective on this election cycle. I mean, probably like most other people, you know, you're just bombarded with stuff. And then there's the stuff that's fake, you know, designed to mislead, from foreign actors mostly, but promoted internally. And so, you know, it's just like, I'm overwhelmed. So I just was looking for a little perspective. The election will be what it will be, you know. Is it the end of the world if one or the other is elected? I suspect not. Now, we might be on a long-term trend depending on your outlook. I'm sure it's downward, no matter how you look at it, on which side you're on. But, you know, what happened to the middle ground? Compromise, working together. So we'll see how it all goes. Everybody's got their opinions, everybody's got their predictions, so whatever. Sit down, have a pipe, and just calm down. That's what I've tried to tell myself. But the level of stress just kind of is everywhere. It just kind of is building and building and building up, you know. So I can feel it out there in the workplace, just everywhere. So if you can be an island of calm and reason and sanity, you're doing good. And you're doing everybody else around you good. So I hope that's a workable place to be. Meanwhile, autumn is upon us. I got a little head start on cutting wood. There were some nice cherries about a foot in diameter that I brought down. They were standing dead off in my little wood lot, if you will. Anywhere in the Pacific Northwest on the west side is a wood lot, honestly. But lots of good firewood. So the woodshed is pretty full, and things are good. There's always stuff to do. Trying to build a little outbuilding, but I just haven't made the time to do that. Towards the last couple months of the year before Christmas, we have to, where I work, I've been there long enough that I've accumulated, it's a great problem to have, some extra leave time. But they will only carry over 80 hours. And I can cash out 80, but that still leaves me with about 80 that I haven't taken. So I'm going to have to take days off here. So maybe that'll get the little outbuilding moving along. But it's kind of wet and cold. So you just kind of want to hang out inside and read whatever book you're reading at the moment. There's an interesting article in the Atlantic about college students and how they have a much lower tolerance of reading. They are just so distracted by other things. Probably a twin, big 6 cylinders. What would you say that is? I don't know. Pistons, though, rather than turbines. Anyway, they just don't read as much. And about half of what is being assigned in upper level literature courses is being assigned now because people just aren't reading it, you know. So there's always the possibility people weren't reading it anyway, they were skimming it and then just getting by. But and there are still those people who read well and write well as a result, because I think writing well, spelling well, is a result of reading and exposure to the written word. So, yeah. I mean, once again, we can blame social media for whatever, but for whatever good that does. But there are a lot more inputs these days that take away reading time, and I feel it too. I mean, I'm not reading as much as I used to. We're coming on, the big dark, we call it in the Pacific Northwest, where it gets dark at 3:30, maybe 4, and then gets light at like 8:30 in the morning. I mean, it's like more dark than light. It's like 2/3 dark, 1/3 light. So if you think about moving to the Pacific Northwest, even with climate change, whatever has caused that, and there's a warming and drying trend in the Pacific Northwest, yay! It's still, you've still got the latitude to work with. So, makes for great reading time, however. So. Yeah, the Super Balkan's pretty good. I mean, it's decent stuff. Is it the best pipe tobacco I've ever smoked? Probably not, but far, far, far from the worst. So I have to admit, this does kind of chill me out, smoking a pipe. It's just kind of contemplative and reflective. And that's great. Yeah. I mean, come on. Anything that does that is good. I think a lot of people are, in states where you can, have turned to marijuana as a calming solution. Whatever. I just never have been inclined that way, so. Plus I had my bad experience with the homemade cookies that one time. Where I couldn't stand up, and I couldn't, it was just a bad experience. So, other people can do that stuff. I'm not interested. I have tried CBD cream, when I was having back problems and stuff. I don't know, it just doesn't really do that much for me. I don't really need it, I don't think, these days. So, break a leg if you do it, I guess. Keep that economy moving along. We'll see if there's a move at the federal level to legalize at least medical marijuana, right? I mean, that's how it usually starts, and then eventually it moves into recreational. So, I've lived in 2 of the early adopter states, Colorado and Washington. So it seems very normal to me, but people can abuse anything, and I always think it's just kind of a lazy drug. It kind of, okay, you're chilling out, but don't lose all your motivation. Again, it's all about personal decisions and personal choices. So, we'll see where all this goes. This election stuff, this political stuff. I'm kind of interested in it. I do wish we had calm political people who just operated from fact, true fact. And it just doesn't happen on either side. It's just not exciting enough, I guess. And I think once you reach a certain political level, and that could even be the county commissioner level, and anything above that, there's just a lot of different pressures on political people. And so, we now have varying versions of what's true. So, there's that. I don't know. I would love it if there was just a very calm, smart, experienced manager, because I think that's what that position has to be. Sorry, my phone now tells me there's a fire call somewhere in the district here. Let's turn that off. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah. Good manager, sensible, calm, trustworthy, not unduly influenced by political stuff. That's tough. That's tough. I think you see that on more local boards, library boards, fire commissioner boards. Yeah. School boards have been kind of hijacked, I think, for political ends. But discussion around the campfire, but don't we kind of have our own little campfire right here? See, that's the thing. I think that's one reason, that's kind of the key to pipe smoking is it's like having your own little campfire right with you, and it provides that effect. We'll see. We'll see what happens.